Debt isn't just about credit cards or student loans. It's everywhere, stacked in layers that hold up the entire economy. In this video, we'll peel back the 6 layers of debt, starting from your wallet and climbing all the way to entire nations. The first layer is the one closest to you: credit cards, student loans, and payday loans. These are the debts that most people carry at some point, and they come with some of the highest interest rates you'll ever face. A missed payment on a credit card can snowball quickly, turning a few $100s into thousands over time. Student loans can stick with you for decades, shaping decisions about where you work, whether you buy a home, or even when you retire. Payday loans, on the extreme end, are designed to trap borrowers in cycles of repayment. This layer is where debt feels the heaviest on an individual level, because it directly determines your day-to-day financial freedom and stress. The second layer is household debt: mortgages, car loans, and home equity lines of credit. This type of debt is often seen as normal or even expected because it's tied to big milestones like buying a house or financing reliable transportation. On the surface, it feels safer than personal debt, since assets like homes or cars back it up, but the risk lies in scale. A mortgage isn't a few $1,000s. It's often hundreds of thousands, sometimes millions. When interest rates rise, these payments swell, putting stress on families and households across the economy. That pressure can lead to less spending in other areas: fewer vacations, less shopping, cutting back on restaurants. And those cutbacks ripple outward, slowing down the businesses that rely on consumer spending. Household debt may feel normal, but when it grows too heavy, it weighs on the entire economy. The third layer is corporate debt. Companies borrow money all the time, through bank loans or by issuing bonds, to fund new projects, expand into new markets, or just keep the lights on. When used wisely, this borrowing fuels innovation and growth, creating jobs and boosting the economy. But too much of it can be dangerous. Some companies become what's called zombie firms, staying alive only by rolling over their debt instead of actually making profits. When that bubble pops, workers lose jobs, investors lose money, and entire industries can stumble. And hey, if you're finding this breakdown helpful, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of these financial deep dives. The fourth layer is banking sector debt: the money banks owe to each other. Behind the scenes, banks constantly move money around through interbank lending and what's called the repo market. These short-term loans keep the financial system liquid, allowing banks to cover withdrawals, fund new loans, and maintain confidence. Most of the time, it works smoothly and almost invisibly. But when trust between banks breaks down, everything grinds to a halt. That's exactly what happened in 2008, when banks realized too many of their assets were tied to risky mortgages. Suddenly, no one wanted to lend to anyone, and the system froze. The result was a global financial crisis that started at this very layer. Banking sector debt may seem abstract, but when it cracks, the ripple effects are massive. The fifth layer is government debt, and it's bigger than all the layers below it. Governments borrow by issuing bonds to investors, banks, and even foreign countries. That money goes toward funding everything from infrastructure and schools to healthcare and defense. Unlike personal or household debt, governments are expected to carry debt, and in many cases, it's even considered safe. But the size matters. When debt grows too large, interest payments alone start to eat up a massive share of the budget, leaving less money for essential services. Raising taxes or cutting programs often follows, which affects citizens directly. And while strong economies can manage large debts for decades, history shows that when confidence in a government's ability to repay breaks, the fallout can lead to inflation, austerity, or even default. Government debt isn't just numbers on paper. It's a balancing act with real consequences for everyday life. The sixth and final layer is international debt, the money countries owe to each other, to global institutions like the IMF and World Bank, or to foreign investors. This layer shapes geopolitics as much as economics. When wealthy nations hold large amounts of another country's debt, it creates leverage and influence. For developing countries, borrowing can provide much-needed infrastructure and growth, but it often comes with strings attached, leading to what some call debt traps. Defaults at this level don't stay contained. They can spread quickly across borders, rattling markets and triggering global slowdowns. International debt shows that the financial system is deeply interconnected. What starts as one country's problem can quickly become everyone's. Debt isn't just a personal burden. It's a layered system that stretches from individuals to entire nations. Each layer connects to the next, and when one cracks, the shock can spread upward and downward through the economy. By understanding these 6 layers, you see how money really flows and why financial stability matters at every level.